I grew up in suburb Rocky River, which is on the west side of Cleveland. Lived there most of my life. And Cleveland's a foodie town. There's a lot of kosher delis, there's a Little Italy, there's a Greek section of the community, there's a Polish section. It's just like a Chicago, New York. As a kid, I'd always watched my mom cooking, and I liked baking, and it just seemed interesting. And for me, it was my form of art because I like different foods, textures, flavors. And a really important thing is, I guess, growing up, my dad we would spend a lot of time going to football games, and prior to going, we'd go to kosher delis. I knew from an early on age what really good corned beef tastes like, having grown up in Cleveland with a strong Jewish community. So I like really good food, and I like really good rye bread. So as time went on, when I looked to get into Dave's, it made complete sense because I understand and appreciate really good food. First, our oldest daughter lives here. It's been now about 4 or 5 years, so we would come to visit. One day later on, maybe about 1.5 years ago or so, she says there's no Dave's Cosmic Subs here. And I'm kind of like, what does that mean? I started Googling and looking around and digging deep into the greater Burlington area. And my daughter was right. There really weren't any sandwich shops that I would consider similar on par to what's going on in Cleveland, New York, Chicago, Philly, Brooklyn, Jersey, on down the list. Rochester, a big northern city, has these kind of cuisines and foods in them. That was a big opportunity. There was a business opportunity. So we kind of reached out and started having dialogues literally in his living room. And when we had shared our interest in Vermont, he thought that was a fantastic idea. I was ecstatic of thinking, sounds like a great win for everybody. Let's put a Dave's in Vermont. Here we are. The Dave's concept was developed in 1997 by Dave Lombardi. He had two passions in his life, from my understanding, is music and great food, having grown up in an Italian background with a family that was in the business, as well as having spent, I think, 10 years or so, something to that effect, out in the West Coast acting and in music. One day, those two passions came together, and he developed Dave's Cosmic Subs in the late 90s. So intuitively, I look at the menu, I understand what's going on. I like a lot of it, I get it. And the essence for me is back to as a kid, a really good sandwich shop is similar like a kosher deli, where you have really good pastrami, corned beef, and classic Italian. To me, that's what a sandwich place is. For me, if I was going to get involved with something, it'd have to make sense for me. I'd have to believe in it. And for me, one of the big litmus tests, because I did not know it at the time, but Dave's Cosmic Sub is ranked the best sandwich in Cleveland, Ohio. That's a big deal because it's all about quality and taking care of the customer. And I strongly believe with what's going on here that we can do that. In fact, we've had one customer tell us this is a sandwich oasis in a sandwich desert in Burlington and greater Vermont. Knowing enough of where I've traveled and people and ethnic influences and being in the Northeast, generally speaking, the American people like really good food, and they like, I call it funkified food, something that's different, something that's unique, something that's high quality, where people are really treated like a neighbor or like a family member to some degree. The intent is to kind of, as much as possible, know people by their name and a little bit about them and create that feel as like a neighbor. The Dave's concept, not any store is exactly alike. They're alike in the sense of the vibe, the music, and the menu and what goes on. That all has to be spot on. But from there, the art was a kind of a collaborative thing of my own interpretation. The mural was actually hand sketched and drawn by myself and family, and it's kind of funky. We have the Led Zeppelin balloon, you've got Pink Floyd Prism and Allman Brothers Mushroom. It fits what we're doing there, and it creates that special, unique feel, again, that has nothing to do with set pictures or posters or like any corporate feel. It's very personalized. Plain paint and standard pictures you would get in almost any other kind of business does not have anything like a corporate feel, and we don't want to do that. Everybody wants to be treated well and with respect, and we're able to do that with an environment like this, that it's a small store and not this big monolithic behemoth kind of a thing going on.